Hey guys, today we are going to be taking a look at area, perimeter, and volume in real life situations. So in addition to being able to know what perimeter, area, and volume are, as well as how to calculate them, it's really important to be able to know when you would need to use each of these in real life. No one is going to hand you a picture of a rectangle or a triangle in real life and say, quick, solve this problem for me. But as adults, we use area, perimeter, volume for all kinds of things that we want to be able to purchase and use at our homes and for in our yards and all types of things. So what you have on your screen right now is a picture of a beautiful pool, and we're going to talk about how perimeter, area, and volume will relate to this pool. So if I was looking at this picture and I wanted to know something that specifically would require knowing the perimeter of this pool, I would want to look at the outside edge of this pool. So a couple of different things would go around the perimeter. Very close to the pool, you have this nice white border around the pool. So in order to know how much of that material I would need to purchase when I'm putting my pool in, I would need to calculate the perimeter. So I would need to know the length of each of these sides, the length of each of the shorter sides of the rectangle, and of course to find the perimeter I would add them all together like we've been doing. How about this sidewalk as well would be part of the perimeter. Now this is a larger perimeter here because we don't want the sidewalk to be the same size as the pool, so it's going to actually go out a little larger of a perimeter there. Now how about area? We know that area is the amount of space the pool covers. Now you've actually got the actual pool here would be how much this actual pool is covering. I could measure the length right here times the width over here, and that would tell me the area in squares, in units squared. Probably square feet would be a good option for this, that I'm actually covering the ground with this shape. Of course, then I could go a little larger and look at the area of the sidewalk area that I'm actually cutting out of my grass. So I'm kind of covering my yard in concrete in order to build this pool. And then finally, if we look at the volume, you have to remember that this is not a flat rectangle, even though that's what it looks like right here. This is not a flat rectangle. If we could look at below the ground, we would see that this is actually a rectangular prism that's going to go straight down, over, and back up. So that means that this pool is going to have depth. Now, most pools are not the same depth from one end to the other, but for the sake of this video, we're just going to pretend that this specific pool is just, say, 5 feet deep. That means that if we wanted to know the volume, we could measure the length here that we already know from the area and the perimeter. We could measure the width here, and then we could also measure the depth, which I just made up as 5 feet. So we got to remember that however far down this pool goes would be our depth or our height. So if I wanted to know the volume of water that it's going to take to fill this pool up, then I would want to know length times width times height, and I would want to fill it up. So again, whenever we're trying to figure out perimeter, area, volume for real life situations, you want to think, am I talking about going around something? Am I talking about how much that it is covering, the space it's covering, like think about flat tiles covering that space? Or am I thinking about how much I am filling it up, which would be volume? So perimeter is around, area is covering something up, and volume is filling it up. And so we're going to use that idea as we look at some various real life examples on this other screen here. So there's a strange glare here. On our paper here, we have a variety of real life situations, and our job is going to be to determine whether we would use perimeter, area, or volume for this situation. So I am going to take my highlighter and just kind of look at some key things as we go through here. Farmer Brown is planting seeds in his field, so you really want to think about, where are these seeds going to go? Are they going to go just around the outside edge? Are they going to cover the field? Or are they going to be filling something up? If you think about a nice flat field, where are you going to put all the seeds? You're going to cover the ground in them. So that would be area. Next, let's skip down to number 4. Many women walk around the track for exercise. So key word there would be around. So if you're thinking about a track, you're thinking about these 3 words. If we're going around the track, then we would be looking at the perimeter. And now let's skip down to number 7 because it goes well with the picture we started this video out with. Mr. Nelson put in a pool that will be 5 feet deep, 9 feet wide, and 20 feet long. How many gallons of water will it hold? So this is a great example of where we have 3 numbers, which is another clue that you're dealing with a 3D shape, and we want to know how much the water will hold or how much we can fill it up, so that will be volume. Remember, volume is the only one where we're multiplying 3 numbers as well, and so anytime you're given 3 numbers, that's a good clue that you're calculating volume, because area and perimeter you're adding all the numbers, no matter how many it is. Area, you're only multiplying 2. So anytime they're giving you that 3D shape, the fact that there's a length, a width, and a height, that leads you to think volume as well. Alright, so let's go back up to the top now that we have a good example of each. And let's think, Miss Smith wants to put wallpaper on her bathroom walls. I don't know who has wallpaper in their bathrooms anymore. Most people paint now. But wallpaper used to be really popular, and where will it go? Is it going to go just around the outside, or is it going to cover it, or are we filling something up? Well, a wall is not 3D, it's flat, so we're going to cover our wall in it, so it'll be area. Number 3, Sally needs to find a large enough container to hold her famous chicken noodle soup. And 2 things here. I'm thinking about a container to put something in. So I'm thinking, which one of these will it be? Good, volume. It's correct. Now we skip down to number 5. The kitchen floor needs new tiles. How many tiles would they need to buy to cover the floor? This one was a very good giveaway word here. They're actually covering the floor, the whole floor. And so that would be, what do you think? Area, yeah. 6, the Allen family needs to put up a fence for the new dog they got for Christmas. So, we've got a new dog and we're putting up a fence. And where does a fence go? In your backyard. It goes around the edges, perimeter. Alright, skipping down to number 8. Samantha, and I'll just write these in down here so that you guys can still see what we're picking. Perimeter, area, volume. Number 8, Samantha needs to know how big to make a box that will hold 3 sweaters. I have 2 really big clues here. One, I'm talking about a box. So I'm talking about a 3D shape. And I want to put things in it. I want to put sweaters in this box. So if I want to know how much it will hold, then I'm going to calculate the volume. Billy decorated his house by putting Christmas lights around his front window. If we have a window and we're putting Christmas lights around it, then that will go to perimeter, yes. And lastly, Mrs. Smith has finally convinced her husband that the living room needs new carpet. How many square feet will they buy? 2 clues here. 1, it's a floor. We're going to cover the floor in carpet. And also square feet. And remember, area is always calculated using units squared because you're multiplying 2 things when you do it. And so since we're using square feet and not cubes, then that helps us to know that this is area. So I hope that this was kind of a quick little exercise in getting you to think about real life situations that require area, perimeter, volume. Because as we're going to see as we build on our perimeter, area, volume skills, most of the time when you need to calculate these, it's going to be done in words, because that is real life, and that's really the only reason we need to learn about math, so that we can are prepared to use it in our daily lives. So I will see you guys next time for our very last area, perimeter, volume video, coming to you soon.